Well, welcome everybody. My name is Angela Simoes. I'm the chair of PALCUS, and we are really excited to be doing this because it's a first for me, and I'm thinking it's a first for a lot of people. But in the time of COVID, you have to make do and figure out new way of doing things. And this idea was actually Magda's idea, the chamber. She's a wealth of ideas. This woman has just ideas pouring out of her, and so she said, "Why don't we do this?" And I said, "Sure, let's contact Michael." When and she pulled in Jose, and so it just all came together so lovely, and I'm excited to be here. And I want to thank Magda for her idea. I want to thank Jose Meirelles for being here. And I will ask, if you're not talking, if you could go on mute, that would be great. And then later on, if you have questions, you can unmute. But we wanted this to be as interactive as possible, which is why we made it a meeting as opposed to a webinar. And so, I'm so thankful to have everybody participate. And so I just want to introduce Michael Benevides, who is the, President, Grand Poobah of Portugalia Marketplace, which is, I like to refer to as Portuguese Mecca. I haven't been there yet. And the next time I get to New Bedford or Fall River, that is like the first stop I'm going to. But Michael, if you could just say a few words, that would be great.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Angela. Thank you, Magda, for hosting this event. Thank you all for being on this call. Really appreciate you guys checking us out at PortugaliaMarketplace.com, placing these orders. We're very happy to have with us one of our suppliers, Nuno Rocha from Pinhais, who will be celebrating 100-year anniversary this week. So canning and canneries have a long heritage in Portugal. It's one of our prized foods. They're seeing a resurgence at this time, and Nuno can speak to you a lot more about that. Jose also for creating these amazing recipes and serving suggestions for you all. So I just want to thank you all for being on this call and ordering from Portugalia.
So Angela wanted me to say a few words, and I'll tell you how this idea came up. I live in New York City. My children go to an international school. Every year we have a big event with a food fair where every country gets represented, like food from 116 countries. And we joined the school in 2008, and there were no Portuguese families, but we wanted to be there. So we managed to carve out a little space near the Spanish table, and the lady in the Spanish table was like, "This is a lot of pressure, there's 1,200 people go through that door, you really have to know what you're doing," and all this. So the first year we just had pastéis de Belém and a few cheeses and sort of watch how it went. And then the following year, we got a bit more adventurous, and then there were a few more Portuguese families joining. So we managed to get something together, and then it became really big, and the Portuguese table became very, very involved. And we also looking for, diversifying a little bit. And I met Jose Meirelles, and he came up with this idea of this sardines on toast. So that's, and it became really something that got a lot of photographs. It got a lot of other chefs coming over to see our table and taste. And it became a lot of fun. Easy to do, but really delicious. And my daughter would help me. I was just saying before we open up that she had to learn to dissect the sardine and take the bones out, and for those that don't like the bones. But, she did it. And I have here some of my friends in this dinner party. So it's almost, it's very special. And so PALCUS was hosting its biannual conference, and it was supposed to be in Miami, and then it went virtual. And we were talking about how, when you have a physical in-person conference, you get all these other social interaction. You get to see, to eat together with other people, to go in, on tours, on sightseeing. There's music, there's art, and this was not happening in this virtual conference. So there was a wine tasting, and then I said, what about this? A canned seafood kind of event. And Angela knows Michael, and you heard how it all started. We also launched an art gallery for Portuguese American artists, and we've had a series of Meet the Artist sessions that have been very interesting and successful. And so we'll have to do other artists in the coming weeks and months. I'm not going to bore you with that because I'm sure we want to dig in. And Nuno was going to tell us a little bit about this old tradition in Portugal and a very important industry.
Thank you, Magda. Thank you, Angela, for the organization, and thank you, Michael, obviously, for the invitation. We've been partners and friends for several years now. So it's for me, it's a pleasure and obviously an honor and a responsibility to be here and advocating a topic that is so special for me and for any Portuguese around the world, like the Sardines. But before we get onto the good part, obviously, thanks, Jose Meirelles. Thank you, Chef, for the special taste that you're actually giving to this event, because organizing a virtual event is not easy, but organizing it with a special taste is even harder. So thank you so much for this effort. Before we move on, I'd like to bring you back a little bit, like 200 years in history, to the late 1700s. So when a gentleman that you may know, like called Napoleon Bonaparte, that was trying to conquer Europe, a small feature by that time, offered a reward of around 12,000 francs for whoever would discover or would develop a way to preserve food. Just to get back to the origin of the preserved fish or the preserved food. So his motto was, besides guns and ammo, any army should move on his stomach. So to answer to this challenge from the creative mind of a young man called Nicolas Appert, a Frenchman, a Parisian, more precisely, was born the first preserved food ever. And this was a very simple way to preserve on a liquid that had preservative properties and in a glass jar. No sterilization, no chemical process, nothing. Obviously, the duration of this product was very short, but it fulfilled what it was supposed to fulfill, to supply the troops. During the 1900s, obviously during World War I and World War II and other warfares around the world, the same supply challenge came up and thrived the development of canneries all over Europe, and especially all over Portugal. To give you an idea, our company is based in Matosinhos, in the north part of the country near Porto. And 50 years ago, only 50 years ago, there were around 60 canneries on a small space like the south of Matosinhos. Nowadays, there are 2. So you can imagine the impact of the war and the demand that the war needed to supply the troops, of course, in terms of preserved food, preserved fish, that suddenly disappeared. So throughout the ages, we have a peak on the demand, a lower on the demand. But one thing is for certain, for all the suppliers that are in this industry around the world, Portuguese canneries, Portuguese sardines are always considered among the best in the world. And that does not change throughout the ages, okay? Even though nowadays we have some quotas and some restrictions, whenever we do it very well, and we are very, very proud of it, okay? So just to give you a context on the industry. So getting back to 2020, this is a very special year for Conservas Pinhais. I'm the sales director of Conservas Pinhais. We export to 27 countries around the world, US included, very proudly. And celebrating the 100 years, that's going to happen on the 23rd of October. We are celebrating also the history of the canning industry. We have 100 years of experience, and we are one of the last countries in the world, not only Portugal, but in the world, that preserves a totally artisanal method of production. And just to quickly give you an idea of what I'm talking about, from the moment that the fish is purchased at 6 a.m. at the harbor by our purchase manager, since it arrives, it gets selected by hand 5 times before it gets inside the can. And to give you an idea how hard that is, we have 110 employees, and 97 of them are artisans that work with us on the production. So you can imagine it's a very labor-intensive work. Obviously, it can be done by machines, but it's not the same quality, it's not the same method, and it's not the same tradition. And Conservas Pinhais is actually preserving this towards the future because it's part of our history, part of our past. And in 2021, we'll open the only live museum of the industry, at least in Europe, that we know about. There is no live museum like this will be. So people will come into the factory and see the actual cans being made, being produced by the ladies that have all the experience. So I think it will be very interesting. And I invite you all, obviously, after tasting the sardines from Portugalia, coming to Portugal and visiting the origin where they came from. Okay, so let's get to the good part.
I'm sorry, Nuno. I think we have some people on wait room.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Nuno. Go ahead.
No? Okay. Okay. So we'll have, I think, Angela, we'll probably have some questions and doubts by the end of the session. So I'll move on to the tasting part. Okay. And so the challenge for today was to bring you 2 products. Okay, so the Pinhais sardines in olive oil, plain olive oil, and the Pinhais sardines in spiced olive oil. These are 2 of the best sellers and the most famous recipes. And you may think, oh, but it's so simple, it's just olive oil and some spices. We really do it on purpose. We like to keep it simple because for us, the most important is the flavor of the fish and not eventually the recipes around it. So my recommendation is always to start the palate with the sardines in olive oil and then pass on to the spice, okay? So would you like to join me? Yeah? So I have it open.
Of course.
Yeah.
We should also introduce Jose Meirelles. Hello, Jose.
Olá.
Olá.
Night.
Jose is a chef here in New York City. And maybe you should introduce yourself. How did you become a chef?
I live in New York City. I've been in the restaurant business for about the last 30 years. My original restaurant was a restaurant called Leal, and became famous last 15 years because I did hire a young chef called Antonio Bourdain, so that's my claim to fame. And now I own a kosher French restaurant called the Marais in Times Square. So I've been always involved on the French side of business. I tried a couple of Portuguese restaurants, but I guess I don't know how to do them, and both end up closing in a very, very short lives. So to me the canned fish or the conservas is something I always love, and not to spoil too much about what you're going to see on the video, but it's something that I've been eating pretty much all my life. So. And at a certain point, when I was at Leal, we have a tuna niçoise. That's one of the recipes that you're going to see. And you use canned tuna, but canned tuna I could find in the United States, the famous brand, the chicken of the sea and whatever it is, to me, they were tasteless. So it led me to try to find a better tuna, at least the one I was used to eat when I was in Portugal. And I came across a brand from a source called Corretora, and I found some cans, but was very, very spotty and very hard to find. So unfortunately, led me to use a great tuna from our neighbors, Spain, that also produce very good tuna, and that's where I really start to be introduced to what good tuna is, or introduced to what good tuna is. Although during the period of time that the restaurants, the Sardines was, most chefs were starting moving to fresh tuna, I never did that. I always kept the canned tuna, because to me, I think it's more authentic. Is for that salad is really the best. So and now that I know Michael carries Curator and cannot online, I probably go back to the Portuguese tuna. So, but sardines is where I start. It happens that in boarding school, when I was in high school, my best friend actually was from Matosinhos, and his father owned a cannery. I don't know if probably was not remember. It's called Yari Pedroso. They have a brand called Quinas. It's not in business anymore. So of course you'll bring to school always case of conservas, and it was always our late night snack, because that's we were studying, or we were enjoying and partying, and nothing else to eat. You open a can of sardines, a can of mussels, a can of mackerel, and that's our snack. So that's why I got hooked in conservas.
Okay, Nuno, back to you.
So it's always funny to listen to these stories, because luckily I have the chance to hear these stories from all over the world. And for example, a few days ago, there was a girl from the Philippines that came to Portugal and suddenly stopped by our factory, and she said, "Look, I remember my great-grandmother. She used to give me conservas of sardines in Christmas, because there was nothing else to eat, and I still remember the taste." And after I offered a can, and she said the taste is exactly the same. And we came to discover that the can that her grandmother used to buy, or the brand, was produced on the same cannery that today I'm working, and we're speaking about 40 to 50 years in difference. So this kind of memories, this kind of experience, obviously are related to the taste and to the evolution of the generations. But it's really nice to see how food can connect people wherever they are. So getting back to the conservas, I've opened the sardines in olive oil. Okay. And this, I don't know if you prefer to eat it on a toast or on a little bit of bread, or mixed with something. Usually we eat it just like this, or mix it with rice. It's always an option as well. So you have it with you?
I have it on my bread.
Yeah. Okay. So bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
So on this option, like I told you, is more for whoever really likes the flavor of fish. Okay, this is only pure olive oil, 100% refined and filtered olive oil. We filtered the olive oil ourselves, and we use the fresh fish that arrives in the morning, and we can it by the end of the day. So we never leave anything from the other day to can, because we understand that it loses freshness and properties. So everything needs to be done and canned really, really fast. Okay, so this is for the naturalist of sardines. Getting onto the spiced version. This is actually our bestseller around the world. I can give you an idea of the proportion. I would say that this represents half of all the sales that we do, and all the other items represent the rest. So this is a quite famous recipe, and it's composed by 3 to 5 sardines, okay? Exactly the same sardines, exactly the same olive oil, but then it adds the natural piri-piri that we all know very well, the cucumber or pickle, natural and sliced on the day that we can the product, so it's fresh. The bay leaf or loro or laurel leaf, I don't know how you call it in the US.
Bay leaf.
Bay leaf.
Bay leaf. The black pepper, and how do we say crevinho?
Clove.
Clove, the clove, exactly, and the carrot. So all of this composes a more complex flavor. And one secret that I can share with you, First of all, obviously, bon appetit, and please try it. I already know it. In here in Portugal is 1 a.m. in the morning, so I've already have my dose of sardines. Bon appetit for you. But I can share one secret with you. The longer the sardine stays in the can, the longer years, we're speaking about years, the better it gets. So it's exactly like a port wine, and with the same restrictions or limitations. If the port wine is not good quality, so you better drink it immediately and get over it. If it's good, you are able to age it as long as you want, and it only gets better. With the sardines and the canned fish, it's exactly the same. If the ingredients inside are fresh, they are well cut, they are well selected, you can have a can stored for years and years, and it only gets better because all the flavors, all the ingredients get together, and it's much more tender product and much more complex flavor. I can give you an idea that once in a while I find some cans with between 18 to 25 years at the factory. Okay, obviously, I take one or two for myself, and I open them at home with a good glass of wine, and that's a fantastic experience. I can tell you, if you get your hands on a can like that, you keep it for a special moment. Okay, so I'll pass on the word to Angela.
Sure, but we see some people that don't have their cameras on. Don't be shy. We are all eating.
So can I just say, I've never been a big sardine fan, and there's a convert today because these are delicious, and I think it is a matter of quality. I don't know, but this is delicious. So thank you very much. This is really great.
Barbara, you like them a lot, right? And your kids?
Very good. So, our daughter is 7. She's in that awkward phase of when she was little, she loved fish. So we took her to Portugal, and it was awesome because she would eat dorada and everything. Like, there was no problem. Now she's very picky. So, but my husband has always loved sardines. And now, I think we have quite a spread here as far as things to add to it and sauces and sweet peppers and things like that, which kind of helps. But oh yeah, this is delicious. I have to say, if it wasn't for this event, I don't know that I would have ever tried it. So I'm really happy. I'm pleasantly surprised. Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the words.
Thank you, Angela. Yeah, I wouldn't have had sardines.
So we have a video from Jose Meirelles. I can play it now. You tell me, Magda, when you want to play it.
I don't know. I see some people raising hands. I think have questions.
Yeah, if you have questions, yeah, for sure.
Come on, Vanessa.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Nuno what he thought about the pairing with wine, because I always have a hard time. I'm a red wine drinker, so today I have Felipe Pato's very dry wine with me because I thought it was going to be less intrusive into the taste of the sardines. But what do you usually advise?
Well, for the plain sardines, I usually advise dry white. Okay, for the plain sardines in olive oil. For a stronger taste, like the spiced version, definitely a red wine. I would recommend Merlot. Some wine, it depends a lot on the taste, but I can give you the idea that in Portugal, a lot of people mix the spiciness of sardines with port wine. So a little bit onto the sweetness, onto the heaviness of the wine, but obviously that's always up to your taste. But if the sardines or the fish that you're eating has some spices, definitely red. Okay, if you want to really feel the freshness of the fish, you should combine it with the freshness of the wine as well. So good white is always the best option. Yeah, dry white.
Thank you.
More questions?
What does everybody think so far? Is everybody enjoying their sardines?
Let's have some comments.
Yeah, because
I already eat them. I already eat my cans of sardines prior to the event. I have only 2 left, so The other one's already gone, but they are delicious. And I want to refer a bit to Nuno said before about aging. There was a big story. I don't know if you read the Portuguese press a few years ago, I believe, on Espresso about you guys having on your safe. You don't keep money there. You keep canned sardines with 5 years and older. Is that true?
That's true. We not only keep some special editions for aging, and that's usually when I get my 18 years old and 25 years old once in a while. But we also keep one special detail for the ones. I think your recipe is based on the tomato sauce, either the spice or the plain tomato sauce. This is a recipe that we've had indoors since 1926. Okay, it's our own recipe. We don't buy processed tomato sauce to place inside the cans. So we buy the tomatoes on the day that we know that we are canning the product. And we have Madame Emilia, that is one of the two ladies in the factory that know the recipe. And I can tell you, they don't know the recipe by paper. They know it by heart, by the size of their hands, and they know every time it works, and it works very well. So if you have the chance to try it, the versions in tomato sauce, you will definitely feel a lot difference from the typical product that you find in the supermarket, because the sauce is made by hand, and it's made through a recipe on the same day that it's canned. So it's quite different from other products. Okay, that's the other secret.
Yeah, when I served in the Army, one of the most popular snacks were tins of sardines. In Germany, the only ones we could get were the smaller ones packed in mustard, which were, they were popular, but it was pretty much all you tasted was the mustard. But it was a very favorite snack there. They would open it up, cover it with hot sauce, and eat it with crackers. And so it was highly popular to the point they sold in PX. So.
And I can tell you, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. Meu pai era da Penacova, Portugal, a minha mãe era brasileira. And I can honestly tell you that this tasting tonight has brought me back to Newark, New Jersey. As a kid, I ate your products very much, and it's unbelievable that you've been able to keep that quality over decades of time. So congratulations for that. And I think my American husband only married me for the Portuguese food, really.
Yeah.
Well, you were married still, so it's a good sign.
Ever that.
Thank you very much, Nancy, for the words. So it's as I told you in the beginning, it's a challenge. It's a motive of proudness, but it's also a big responsibility, because as you obviously know, in the US, in 2020, we are living in a world of machines. Everything is processed. Everything is packed by machines. You go behind the nutritional facts of any product, and you don't understand what's there, because it's so many E's and F's and all the words that we don't know what it is, but we eat it. And keeping this artisanal method, keeping this tradition, really takes us a lot of effort, because we are responsible for employing 120 people on a small village like Matosinhos. And these are not basic workers, as a lot of people may think about. They are specialized. Whenever I go to the production, I am there every day with the ladies and watching the work that they're doing. It's amazing for me to hear their stories. And for example, speaking with Madame Emilia, that she's the one who makes the tomato sauce, and she's been working with us for 59 years on the same factory, doing the same recipe, and she does it with a smile on the face, and it's really incredible. And that's the value that we try to put through the products and to our consumers. Of course, not everybody has the chance to come to Portugal and to understand this feeling in local, in the quality of the product and the naturality of the product. but at least obviously with the help of special people like Michael and Portugalia Marketplace, you are able to find it closer to you. So, and getting back to I think it was Angela that was telling that she's now converted to eating sardines. This is not as uncommon as you may think that actually happens, because when we think about canned sardines, when we think about canned fish, we are always thinking about the basic. It's what I buy whenever I don't have anything else to buy. But that's the supermarket level, the basic product level. When we get to products like Michael has in Portugalia's store, we are speaking about a different level. Even though we are speaking about canned fish, it's a totally different level. And once you get to try those products, then it's hard to go back. And
that's very true. Do you give, and one last question, then I'm going to mute us. Are there tours of your factory or processing plant in Portugal? So next time we visit, we can go there?
Yes, you just have to go to the website of conservaspinhais.pt, and you have a dash called Visit the Factory, and you can book the visit of the factory. Right now with COVID, we are obviously limiting it to 4 people per visit. It's always a guided visitor, but in 2021 will be the special year of the museum launch. So the visit will be more intense, more let's say like this, more deep into the production. Right now it's amazing, but it will be even more spectacular next year. So if you have the chance to come either this year or next year, you're mostly welcome, and I look forward to seeing you there.
So I have just one question, Nuno. As I said, I take the bones out, but it can be eaten as is, right?
Well, I hope you don't feel offended by me telling you that you should eat with the bones.
Okay, I don't get offended.
I have discussion a lot of times whenever people visit the factory, and they ask me, I don't like the bones, I should not eat the bones, so I take them off. But I give the following comparison. Taking the bones out of fish like the sardines is like taking the skin out of an apple. Okay. Maybe you don't like it, but it's the most nutritional part of the fish, like it is on the apple. So the bones, they accumulate all the nutrients, the nutrients, and are supposed to be eaten. But there's a secret about it. Most of the fish that you find in a common supermarket has a different way of cooking. Either it's smoked or it's half cooked. So when I say half cooked, it's cooked inside the can. So the fish goes inside the can and goes inside the cooking oven. What we do a pre-cook. Takes a lot more time, a lot more effort, but we cook the sardines before placing them inside the can. So the heat penetration is total. You get the scales, you get the flesh, and you get the bones cooked. Okay, so I don't know if you already tried it. The bones of the Pinhais sardines, you almost don't feel them. They smash on the mouth precisely because of that way of cooking, that very old method that we call the pre-cooking. Okay, but you always have the skinless and boneless versions, so it's always a good option.
Thank you.
So we should probably show the video, and Jose, I don't know if you want to. Sorry about the dogs. You know, we are in COVID times. If you want to suggest something for the next one for people to try while they're watching the video, but you have some great suggestions in this video on how to, eat the tin fish and pair the tin fish. But I think it would be great to watch that now, and then we can talk about some of the other ones that we have.
Oh, you want to do the video now, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay. But in the meantime, if you want to open the sardines with tomato sauce, that's the next.
We don't have the sound.
Hey, Jose, can you hear
Yeah.
me? So
Yeah,
while,
yes.
while they're working on the video, I saw that bread on that video that you're about to present. That is my ideal sardine bread. Did you bake that?
No, I bought in a bakery.
It looked perfect.
Yeah, it was very good. Yes, a bakery bought in a bakery in New York. So
Nice.
So maybe also you could explain the different kinds of tuna, because there's one can that is in the package that's ventrashka. So what exactly is that?
well, the ventrasche is the tuna belly. So if you think about the pork, ventrasche is the pork belly. To me, it's the most tasteful. Is more fatty part of the tuna. What the fat is equals taste, and that's why it's exceptional ventrasche.
I ate all of my sardines except for the tuna because I want to do the niçoise salad this weekend.
Well, and also one of the canned fish, and maybe Nuno can speak about it. To me, is exceptional. To me is as good as sardines, and maybe for me my favorite is mackerel.
Oh,
that not too many
kebab.
people are familiar with, but to me mackerel is really a fantastic.
I think it has a similar taste to tuna. Let's see if it works. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jose Meirelles. I'm been in the restaurant business for the last 30 years in New York City, and currently I own a French kosher restaurant. But today I'm here to speak about conservas, or canned fish, or tin fish, as they say in the United States. Canned fish is something that people don't pay too much attention. People don't see it as something good to eat, because they only buy them when there's a hurricane, or they think they run out of food, they stack up with canned fish, and that's all they have to eat, that's all they eat. But there is extraordinary canned food being made, especially in the Iberian Peninsula, in Portugal and in Spain. If you get a grab of the right canned fish or tin fish, you have a wonderful experience. Michael from Portugalia Marketplace actually could curate some canned fish, all from Portugal, and you have here Pinhais, that's really probably the best cannery in Matosinhos, Porto, near Porto, and you have the sardines in olive oil, spicy sardines, and sardines in tomato sauce. From Açores Island, you have Corretora, that's really a fantastic producer of tuna, and you also have from Minerva, that's from Poblet Vorzin, and they do a mackerel, and you have from Loças that we have a ventrasche tuna. That's really, to me, the best tuna ever you can eat. Listen, there's 3 advice I give to you. The first one is what you should not buy. You should never spend a penny in a conservas or tin fish that says back in water. Just get away from it. That's disgusting. What you're looking for actually is, first of all, canned fish that is produced in Portugal. That's probably the best. That's me, a Portuguese speaking. Second of all, it must be packed in olive oil. No other oils, only olive oil. So Portuguese, olive oil, and never buy something canned in the water. That's the 3 rules I get to myself about buying canned fish. So you have a choice now. You have a choice. You go online, you go to Portugalia Market, and you order some wonderful sardines, mackerel, tuna, whatever you want. All the conservers there online, they're really extraordinary. Let's go to the best part, that is, let's eat some conservers. conservas is probably the best snack food ever since I was in college. What I used to pull all-nighters to study, and what you wish to eat is conservas with a piece of bread, and it's wonderful. And I still today, to this date, when I get home, I'm studying if there's good conservas on the pantry, nice piece of country bread, nice glass of red wine, and that's it. And here is, I'm going to show you the best way to eat conservas, special sardines, is you have a piece of country bread, like this, or you cut it and use this with a little bit olive oil. Today I'm using Spurão extra virgin olive oil. You grab a tin, I'm going to choose for this the sardines with molho picante. It's sardines in a spicy, with olive oil of course, and a little bit spicy. Piri. Grab a fork, and of course, you grab your glass of wine, and voila, that's it. So if you have a party at home and you want to do a cocktail hour, conservas is wonderful. You can do wonderful canapés, very tasty, and your guest is going to be really, really impressed with the quality of what they're eating. And it's very simple to make, you don't have to sweat that much. For the plain sardines in olive oil, I'm going to start with some thin sliced radish, 1 sardine loin, a little parsley, put on top. Here is your sardine on toast with radishes. The other sardine I have here is sardine in tomato sauce. I'm going to put a basil leaf on top of the bread. So tomato and basil is probably the perfect marriage. So let's do that. And let's grab again 1 loin of the sardine, or whole sardine in this case. You're going to put it on top, and that's it. Sardine, tomato sauce, basil. I have 2 tunas here. I have ventration and I have the tuna loin. So the tuna loin I'm going to save for a salad we're going to do next, that's salad niçoise. So this is some of the few ideas, but again, use your imagination, use whatever at home. So one more little tapas that you're going to do is I'm going to use the macro filet. For that, I need a little bit of smashed avocado, just simple seasoned salt, pepper, a bit of lemon juice. We're going to put some avocado, spread it on the bottom of the toast. One of our wonderful macro filet, and put on top of the toast. We can use some cilantro if you have, but I don't have any cilantro today, so I'm going to put a bit of parsley here, one more tap. So you can see we have wonderful tapas for a cocktail party, a very nice glass of wine, both it. So the next dish I'm going to do salad niçoise. It's basically tuna salad. That's very popular in the United States. Every single cafe, restaurant, there's one on the menu. And most chefs lately, at least on last decade, they decide to do it with fresh tuna, maybe to be able to charge a bit more for the salad, or some of them to make it more sophisticated. But to me, the best salad niçoise should be made with canned tuna. So for this, I'm going to use the tuna fillets from Cobertura. That's my favorite tuna. And we're going to start putting in a bowl simple big lettuce, or Boston lettuce, as some people call it. I'm going to put it in a bowl. 1 tablespoon of good quality vinegar. In this case, I'm using sherry wine vinegar. And for 1 spoon, I'm going to put 4 spoons of extra virgin olive oil. All the season well. Never be shy on salt, and some fresh yogurt. Mix it together. You're going to put your vinegar over the salad, and with 2 forks, you're going to toss it together. And make sure you toss it very well. Really, the key to a good salad is really be able to coat every single leaf of your salad with vinaigrette. Now we're going to add some of the garnish, so will be some shallots, sliced shallots, or if you don't have shallots, any kind of onion will do it. little bit of salt on the salad, and we're gonna again, we do a bit more vinaigrette to season the garnish on the salad. On the salad niçoise, we're gonna add some green beans, they've been pre-cooked, some raw potatoes. Again, you're gonna toss them on vinaigrette, and you're gonna arrange them like this on the salad. Green beans. We're gonna add some cherry tomatoes. You're gonna split them in half. Again, you can use any tomatoes, basically, as long as they look good. I like to use cherry tomatoes because they are never all year round and they always very tasty. You're going to toss some vinaigrette, put on the salad, and now the more item here, that's the hard-boiled egg. You're going to cut your egg in fourth. Again, an egg, you're going to add some salt. You're going to get out. So with all these ingredients here, you will have some black olives. And now we're going to add the tuna. You're going to put the tuna loin, right, smack on the middle of the salad. You should do maybe one can will be enough for 2 people. One last thing, again, that is anchovies. So you can see these anchovies go around the salad. I'll put about 4 fillets. More if you like. Let's just finish the salad. Add some parsley. You're going to chop it and just sprinkle on top of the salad, and that's it. You have salad niçoise.
Okay, that was, thank you, Jose, because I will say I would have never thought of having radishes or basil or some of those ingredients. I would have never thought about that. Sorry.
Sorry, I just got shushed on my wife.
I would have never thought about having a lot of those ingredients with the tin fish. And as a result, I went to the grocery store and kind of went crazy and bought different like olive mixtures and roasted red pepper mixtures and pickles and like a lot of, I mean, I sent you guys a picture of my spread, but again, I'm now a fan and I wasn't before. So thank you very much. This is really great. So either Jose or Nuno, do you want to talk about the tuna? We have the tuna in olive oil and the tuna belly, and then also the mackerel.
I think I will leave the tuna part for Jose because I'm definitely not an expert on tuna. we know about sardines and mackerel. Tuna is not our business. Okay, so I'll leave that part on to Jose. We were mentioning just the mackerel part, and for whoever does like tuna, but feels it like it's a little bit strong flavor, I also recommend you to try the mackerel fillets, like Jose was mentioning. It's a little bit lighter flavor, less dense, but it's also a great product. Mackerel fillets, it's a very good option. Okay, so Jose, about tuna.
Well, the tuna, I mean, there's the ventrèche is really, as I said before, is really the crème de la crème is really and then the tuna loins, I guess, is one slightly lower, and they still are wonderful. But also with the tuna is, I guess, he has to do. I have no idea how the process works on Canadian tuna. I'm just a consumer of tuna, so I have no idea how the things As a consumer, what I like to do is when I open a can of tuna, I like to see some pinkish, slightly pink on the color. I don't want to see white for sure, as I said before, because canned tuna that's white, that's probably use Clorox, to clean it, but neither too grayish. So it has to be a slight a pink in the tuna, and then you know that cannery, they know what they are doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can try to explain a little bit what's behind it from the mackerel side, because the process it's similar. When we speak about the mackerel fillets, we also use the big mackerels. So if the product is fresh, so it obviously has fresh blood. So the blood is something that sticks with the flesh of the fish, and that's the redness that Jose was mentioning. If it's canned really fresh in a high quality level, then you see the redness. If it's white, you should think twice. Yes, that's true. Other ways for example, to evaluate the sardines. Whenever we buy sardines early in the morning, by the beginning of the day, when we receive the first batch, we always look at the eyes of the fish. Okay, the eyes should be bright and transparent, and we need to look at the gills of the fish. If they are vivid red, then we know the fish is fresh. Otherwise, we just refuse it, and it does not go into our production site. Okay, so these are some small details from whoever knows the production, but obviously whenever you have the chance to go to a local market and you're looking for fresh fish, I'm sure that you also have those details in mind, and you look at the eyes and you look at the skin and you have some idea if the fish is fresh or not just by looking at it.
And also on the size of the can, especially on the tuna. And I don't know if Michael has, I know in your site you sell some, I guess the canned tuna of 220 grams or 7 ounces, I guess, tend to be better than the smaller cans. I don't know why, but to me, every time I buy a 20-gram can of tuna, even the same brand, and I buy the smaller one, I don't know, a 4 ounces can, the 200 cans always taste better. Is that just my perception, or is really?
So I can speak to that a little bit. I mean, if it's from Cultura, they pack in a bunch of different sizes, and the quality is consistent throughout. As for other brands, you might be right about that. But I know that all the Cultura products, whether you buy them in the small can, the large can, in fact, they make a really large can. It's beautiful when you open it. It's just a bunch of fillets in this can, so it's really impressive. But as for the other brands, I can't really vouch for. I mean, there are other good tuna producers, but Cultura is really, and the other one that's also really nice is Santa Catarina from São Jorge. They have a beautiful line of tuna that has a lot of different flavors. One of my personal favorites is one with ginger, and you may not think of ginger working well with tuna, but it's absolutely fabulous. And then they have one with El Cream, which is rosemary. So that tuna line is also it's all line caught. This tuna it's all very sort of sustainable, dolphin safe, and these are all skipjack tunas from the Azores. So the tuna industry is, as Nuno knows, and Jose is in the Azores. That's where a lot of this tuna is caught, and the canneries are in the Azores as well. And these are age-old, these are very old canneries, but the quality is second to none.
So Michael and Nuno, can you tell us a little bit more about, you just touched on the issue of sustainable fishing and that's, a big issue for many consumers. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening in the canning industry with regards to that?
Yes, of course. As a global industry, we reached to a point where demand was simply too high for the sustainability of the seas. And then a few organizations came into the film and started implementing some restrictions on the fishing. For example, you may have heard about the fishing quotas in Portugal for the sardines. So in Portugal, we can only fish sardines from the Portuguese coast, what we call the FAO, or fishing area number 27, which is the Portuguese coastline, from the end of April, beginning of the end of May, beginning of June, and the end of September. And that's the only time of the year where we can fish directly fresh fish from the Portuguese waters, in order to enable the reproduction of the species on the other months. So that's the low season, and that's when the sardines reproduce and are able to get to the normal levels of reproduction. For any cannery that obviously needs massive production quantities of fish, this is not a solution. They need to source abroad. They need to source from other sources, from frozen fish, from other sources where there are not these restrictions. In the case of Pinhais, let me tell you that we are a very old but very small company. Although we have a lot of people working because it's a very handwork process, we produce up to 3.5 million cans per year, and that's, to give you a comparison point, it's like a big producer produces in one day. Okay, so it's very small. In terms of impact on the sustainability, we have not even a reasonable impact on sustainability. And at the same time, we always prefer to buy the fish on local sourcing. If we don't have the quality of fish that we need, respecting the limits that we are imposed to by the sustainability of the fish, we prefer not to produce. And that's why some years we have 3.5 million, but other years we don't reach that level because we prefer not to produce than to change either the quality or change our principles in terms of sourcing the fish. Okay, you might have heard of MSC. The MSC is one of the organizations that tells the producers where they can fish the fish, where it's still a sustainable source or not to do the sourcing. Okay, I don't know if I was too general. If you want to know something more specific, go ahead. Just ask.
Yeah, no. How are agreements among neighboring countries and countries up and down the eastern Atlantic seaboard, because your waters all flow one into the other? So restrictions on Portuguese waters don't necessarily help if you don't have cooperation.
Yes, exactly. And the cooperation, specifically in our case, it's between Portugal and Spain. So whenever the European Union decides on the quota for 1 year of fishing, it decides on the quota for the Iberian region. So the quota is divided between Spain and Portugal. It's usually around 40% Spain and 60% to Portugal, because we eat a lot more sardines. And usually these levels are respected. The demand respected, and both countries are used to work with each other, so they respect it. Sometimes it does not happen like this, and especially in the past, not so much nowadays, because the forces that patrol the area are getting a little bit more intense. But for example, fishing vessels from the Morocco fishing area would go up onto the Atlantic or the FAO 27, our fishing area, and they would start fishing our fish. We would have the boats stop to respect the sustainability timing, but there were other boats on the area. This balance has been kept in our region, but there are areas where it's definitely not respected. And I can give you some examples that I know personally. For example, for the African coast of Mozambique, the African coast of Angola, they are not being sourced by the local fishing vessels. They are being sourced, for example, by the Chinese, that come in massive quantities of fishing vessels, and they take a lot of more fish than they should, and then the species don't have enough time to replace themselves on the waters, and that's a big issue on the sustainability. In Europe, I would say that things are quite controlled right now, luckily, and the masses of the fish, according to the latest studies, are recovering very well and very fast. So it's a good sign for our future also.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have one more question. Is patinga just a smaller sardine, or is it a completely different fish?
Patinga is a different subspecies of sardines. Some people think it's small sardines. theoretically it's a sardine, but it's a different subspecies of sardines. I personally, I don't consider it to be sardines, but it's within the same subfamily. So in Portugal, we call it petinga, as you know it, but most of the world call it small sardines or petite sardines. So it's a little bit doubtful this matter. I don't consider it to be on the same level of sardines in terms of qualification. It's a different subspecies, in my opinion.
I have a quick question. Everybody here wants to confirm that this is the tuna belly versus the cobertura, which is just the regular tuna. Is that correct? Yes, Michael?
Yeah, this is the
Yes.
tuna belly. Corrector is the fillet. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
One question to the audience.
Tuna belly?
Yeah.
Nuno, you were saying?
No, I just heard Jose speaking. I was just asking if someone had the chance to try the tomato sauce that I was telling you about a little bit.
Okay, Barbara, tell us about it.
Okay, it was really delicious. Clint will tell a little bit more because he doesn't normally eat sardines. The olive oil one, the tomato one.
Oh, the one with the tomatoes. Yeah, the tomatoes taste really fresh. We've tried some other sardines and it was a lot different. So with the tomatoes.
We are converted to. Now that knowing it's sustainable, you got us.
It's sustainable, and truly you can think and imagine there is one lady that did the tomato sauce that right now is in your can on the other side of the Atlantic. So it's really nice to think about where the product comes from and to have this picture on your mind. So it's good for me also to understand that you really feel a difference from what you are used to eat, and once you try the tomato sauce and you know how it's done. Thank you very much for the feedback.
Thank you.
So one of our guests here said, where can we get this in California? I said, you have to order from Portugalia Marketplace. You have to. That's the only place.
Yeah, you ship to California, right, Michael?
He ships everywhere. So yeah, so everybody, no matter where you are, order
In
from Portugalia
Wyoming.
Marketplace.
He even shipped to Hawaii.
Right, correct. A bit of a challenge to ship to Hawaii, but we figured it out. Yeah.
And it ships very fast because I received, you sent it to me, I got it the following day.
Yeah, New York is really simple for us. I mean, we're on the East Coast, so California is a bit more of a challenge. But right now we have a couple of coupon codes on the site. This is where I plug myself. No, there's a 10% coupon code on purchases of $100 or more, and 20% coupon code on $200 purchases. So it pretty much offsets the cost of shipping. And we have upwards of 500 products on the site currently, everything from conservas to crackers, olive oils, vinegar, olives, you name it. We keep adding new products to the site. So check us out, subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll be receiving more info from us.
Michael, this is nothing to do with sardines, actually kind of the opposite spectrum, but I know a few people that are here in this meeting and that love Portuguese cheese. So does that also get shipped?
We do, yeah. We ship cheese. Right now, my selection is limited, but we do oftentimes, at all times we ship cheese. Yeah, right now, like I said, I probably have 4 or 5 different cheeses on there. The soft ones are really difficult to ship, queijo de serra, that kind of thing. But we can make the proper arrangements. It's just we'll have to ship them expedited. But I'll have some more cheeses on the site as we get closer to the holidays. We'll have a lot more options for cheese. Cheese, cured meats. We also bacalhau. So yeah, we not like highly perishable foods, but cured and aged meats, cheeses, and salt cod. We do a fair amount of salt cod bacalhau online as well.
Good. Any more questions for these experts that we have on the line? We're keeping Nuno awake.
I want to see Bernardo, Francisco, Isabel, and Paulo. Show your face. I want to see your video.
Olá, Francisco. Hello. Isabel is hiding, and Paulo is hiding.
See, there we go. We're all family here. You know we're all related.
Olá, Filipa. Não tem som.
Jose and Nuno, do you have any recommendations on wine pairings for some of this? Or Michael, do you have any advice on wine pairings?
Well, to me is conservas. I like to have a good glass of vinho verde. Also, there's a wine I've been hooked up lately that I think would go extraordinary with conservas. That wine from Açores, actually, white wine called Rinto dos Açores. I think the acidity at mineral level will be wonderful with conservas.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jose. The wines from Açores, the Arinto, the Verdelho, with the high salinity and high minerality, are perfect pairings for if this fish, this oily fish, where that acidity helps cut a lot of that oiliness of fish, which is it's a fabulous pairing. So I couldn't agree with you more on that.
Agree on that.
Okay. So, Angela?
Do we want to talk about the mackerel next? Because I don't think we've tried the mackerel yet.
We have not.
So, Zay, what do you recommend with the mackerel?
Oh, in terms of wine, or in terms of, I mean, actually, it's funny because on Sunday I have a last-minute guest at home, and I didn't know, I didn't have nothing really to do as an appetizer, and I have some chickpeas, so I did a chickpea salad with mackerel, and it was wonderful. So.
I also like to use black eyed peas as a side salad for the tuna or the sardines. But I know not everybody likes black eyed peas for some reason.
Funny, all around the world.
Who doesn't like black eyed peas, Magda? I mean, come on.
All around the world, there are different preferences in terms of taste. I can give you just a few examples. In the Central European area, especially Germanic countries like Austria, Germany, Hungary, they really love to eat either the mackerel or the sardines on a spread, what they call the spread. They do a pate with the product and they place it on a toast and they eat it like that. For example, on the eastern side of the world, definitely white rice and some pasta also with the sardines, especially with the tomato sauce sardines. It's a very, very, very nice combination as well. Just to give you some ideas of how people eat sardines around the world.
So now, no worries if you have unexpected guests. You just open a few cans and put the salad on the side, a nice bread, and there you go. You have a party. Yes,
it's so versatile, this kind of product, that you can just have 2 or 3 ideas of quick imagination, and you can give a good entrance to your visitors, of course.
All right.
So what does everybody think about the mackerel? Have you tasted it yet? And then also, I would love to hear from folks, Did you like this format? Would you do this again? If we did it again, what would we, what would you want it to
Angela,
be?
we were just talking about this. We have so many friends who would really enjoy something like this, and especially my cousins. I was wondering if you all would consider doing this again. It would make a great Christmas present in the age of COVID.
It's a great
to be
idea.
able to purchase this and just give them a date and say, hey, we're getting the family together. And
Oh, so like a family specific one, like you
Private
gift-
party.
well, or just, I mean, I consider you all my family because, you know, it's Portugal, you know, eu sou portuguesa, toda a família. So,
Yeah.
you know, but it would be really so much easier for us. We were just talking about this. If there were classes like this that we could buy to give people as holiday presents. I mean, I love PALCUS's ornaments, but there are only so many ornaments I can put on the tree, Angela.
Yeah.
So this would be much more practical.
Our friends would rather eat.
Yeah, our friends would rather eat.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. And I think after this, we can sync up with Michael and Jose and Nuno and kind of figure out what would a private party package look like. That's a great idea. Thank you, Nancy.
And Michael, I really appreciate your company now that I found it. So I don't have to drive to Norton, New Jersey to stock up on literally, there are like 30 cans of Portuguese tuna in our pantry right now. And
Not to mention gallons of olive oil.
not to mention gallons of Portuguese olive oil. Because, you know, you just cannot buy that in
Surrey, Virginia.
Surrey, Virginia. So what can I tell you?
Thank you. We got you.
But I wouldn't give up on this format because to have people like Nunu and Jose and Michael ask questions of and dig a little deeper into this kind of stuff is just fantastic. This was great.
The other thing, you know, I also volunteer with the Portuguese U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Bernardo here is the president, but he's hiding behind the B. But we have been thinking about doing this as well. For example, there's so much that's talked about. What is a good olive oil? What kinds of olive oils there are? Where are they produced? What's the difference between an extra virgin, a virgin, and just a plain olive oil? Was it good for in cooking? So I guess we could do a few of these events that explain to people these wonderful products, healthy products that are the core of Portuguese cuisine and also of our industries. And at the same time, you know, gather people together that appreciate these foods and these flavors. So, you know, you could give us your opinion on this. You are on mute.
We're in, Magda. We're totally in. Let's do it.
Okay. So we have to come up with a few more ideas. And Michael, of course, you're a great resource. And Nuno, if you'd like to participate, and if you have friends in other food industries that would like to do this, I think it's important.
I would love to give my contribution always as you need it, of course, on this kind of format. For me, it was a great experience to share some specific parts of the sardine, the industry that I know with such an interesting audience. And obviously being related with the food industry, if you need any contacts within this area, obviously we have a lot of colleagues that would love to give their expertise also and share the knowledge with you guys. So thank you very much for your time and patience and for your palate to taste our sardines. And I look forward to doing this again with you. So thank you for the invitation.
And just to let you know, around this group of screens. We have people from very different backgrounds that do different things for a living, and are interested and enjoy it. And I have to say, I have here quite a few of my friends. So it's always great. But they've been teased to enjoy Portuguese food, and a lot of them are Portuguese anyway. So it's been great. It's like my little private party.
Thank you for letting us crash it.
Yeah.
Meg,
Okay.
sorry, this is Warren coming to you from Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, and Charleston, South Carolina. And I just, you were asking earlier about this forum, and I just can't tell you how much this meant to me as a lover of tinned seafood products, and having these experts and these enthusiasts here. This has really been a very, very special experience for me. I had never been.
I can't see you.
I'm sorry, I had it blocked off because I can open it. I don't know if you could see, I'm near an Air Force base. So we've had military exercises. So I've been dealing with it on the, I'll try to see if I can get my, my picture up. Let's see here. And it is dark here, I apologize. I'm on a porch. I'm on a porch. I apologize, and it's very dark here. But I'm an enthusiast for these products, and I believe very much in saving our oceans and sustainable seafoods. It's so incredibly important to me. And I had the privilege of spending some time up in Martha's Vineyard, and I heard about Portugalia. So I instantly made a reservation for the ferry and drove to Fall River, which was a bit of a journey, and bought just a ton of products that I've been enjoying. And just to have you all, I'm sorry my camera is bad and my microphone is bad, but I just wanted to give a big thanks to everyone who's participated, because I've just enjoyed it so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Yeah, that was amazing. I knew I liked sardines, but now I really know why I like the sardines and which ones I should always buy. And when I go back to Michael's shop, which is amazing, gourmet, I mean, I call it like the best gourmet Portuguese foods market. And by the way, they sell delicious wine as well. Portuguese Mecca, yeah, it's amazing. But now I know, and I know, having been there personally several times, the variety that you have, Michael. But now I really know what to look for. So thank you.
Thank you.
So Angela, I think I pass it on to you. I just want to say that I was really, really happy that I had these ideas, and PALCUS and you, Angela, embraced it, and we've made some great events, and I'm available and ready to bring you more ideas and do more of these. And thank you very much to everybody that enthusiastically embrace and join us. And thank you, Nuno. It's very late in Porto, Matosinhos, but thank you very much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jose, for the inspiration and for all the work that you did.
At PALCUS, we live by the MSH motto: make shit happen. Right?
Okay.
So,
I like that.
so we just do it. And it's been an incredible collaboration, Magda. So thank you to you, Bernardo, and Jose, and you brought in Jose, and Michael, you brought in Nuno. It's just been fantastic. And, you know, in a time of COVID where it's hard for everybody, there's a silver lining because we discover things like this. Stuff. It's crazy town over here, but we discover things that are you know, new ways of doing things and new ways that we will continue to do things. And so absolutely we will do more of these. And Nancy, I love your idea of the private party idea, so we'll go back and figure that out. And Magda, keep the great ideas coming. And oh, there's Bernardo.
Well,
well,
no, I've been here. It's, you know, it's the time to put the kids to bed, to sleep. So it was to finalize the dinner, to read a little bit, and to put them to sleep. So they will in 15 or 20 or 25 years they'll taste the sardines. So don't worry.
Right.
But Barbara,
so much.
Easy
Thank
likes
you so
them,
much
right?
for everyone. Okay. Sorry, Magda.
Barbara, Easy
Yeah.
likes the sardines, right?
Easy likes, they both like the mackerel a lot. I bet they will like the sardines.
Good.
Because I've
Very-
shipped them
very
to
healthy.
Wyoming.
The only fish we eat here.
Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. But I
Yeah.
mean, the attendance, I mean, what a fantastic event. We had more today than we did with the wine tasting. So it was excellent. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Thank you, everybody, for participating.
Muito obrigada. Muito obrigada.
Everybody.
Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you for having us.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
We'll be in
Bye.
touch. Excellent. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.